take me all night long. I got what I want 'cause I got you.
Welcome to Formula 7 Racing. We are live here in Tier 1. I'm your commentator for this evening, and I am joined alongside me once again, Jessica Ball. How are you?
Hello, Nathan. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. We are at a really fantastic circuit for the Tier 1 drivers. We have some fantastic action in the other tiers. Let's see if Tier 1 can replicate that.
1 second, Jess. They can hear you, but it's really low, so that'll just be my side. I'll sort that out. Bear with me. Yeah, it's going to be fire, Jeffy. It's going to be a great race. I've got so many issues. Yeah, I'm going to sort it, Ryan. Don't worry. I deleted everything off my Streamlabs to get it all set up brand new, so I'll get it sorted. Don't worry. Bear with me. Can I join any seats available? Pele, I think there might be a vacant seat. Leave it with me, and I will check in a second. I will just get the audio sorted on here, and then once I get that sorted, I'll let you know. Can you still hear me, Jess?
Yep, I can still hear you.
Right, 1 second. Yeah, it's not picking that up yet. Bear with me. So I've got the microphone and desktop audio. I just need to capture the audio from. Sorry, Jess. If I was to capture just the audio, so I've got everything like set up as brand new now. If I just wanted to capture the audio of the Discord that I've got on the computer, how would I do that? I'm all over the place. Right. Once I've got this set up today, there should be no issues then. So. Microphone Jabra. Right, that should be. If I get that. Right, brilliant, got it. Right, there we go. Right, I've sorted it out, I think. Right, Jess, I think I've sorted it out.
Testing, 1, 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can all hear me loud and clear in the chat. Let us know if you can.
They can hear you, but it's really low. I'm just going to turn it up and then hopefully. 1 second. Right, that should be sorted, Jess. I've turned it right up and I've captured the audio from the Discord.
Lovely.
Let me test that. Yeah, perfect. Right, there we go. That is sorted forever now. I will never change that again. So,
Woo!
right, hopefully everybody can hear us, but it's me and Jess on comms again. How are you, Jess?
Now, hopefully, everyone can hear me. I'm all right, thank you very much. We're at the Sakir International Circuit in Bahrain for round number 2 in Tier 1. Full qualifying session, but it is a track where qualifying could mean everything. I'm excited to see what the drivers could do this evening. I think qualifying in Tier 2 was a 127 was pole. I expect some drivers to get into the 126s. We got people in the 127s already, so a good start to qualifying.
Yeah, Dom 4 there with a 127.9, and he just had to move off the track there. He pretty much stopped down the straight. Power Twan with a 128.2 and Sander 127.6. If anybody's confused, Power Twan and Edward have come to an arrangement with the Red Bull team to swap cars. So Asbill and Ryan Clemenson are now Red Bull, and Power Twan and Edward are now McLaren, if anybody's wondering.
Yes, so they're in different teams, but of course they're in the same tier, so we will get a little bit of idea of what people's pace is at the moment. So for qualifying session, as we both mentioned, the slowest two drivers will get knocked out of Q1, and then the slowest five drivers in Q2 will get knocked out of Q2, and that leaves the 10 fastest drivers to get a shot of getting pole position. As we just saw Powertrain had a little bit of a Power Twantle. He had a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 8. So let's hope he doesn't have the same issue again later on.
Yeah, and then we've got a Ferrari. I think that's Joshua Bear, it is. So the commentator from Tier 3 this morning, just heading down towards turn 14 and 15 as we ride on board with him. He hits that brake pedal, moves over to the right-hand side, back onto the throttle, out of turn 15. Epic OJ is in, the Sauber driver, down to the line for Joshua Bear. And it will be P4, a 128.4, so it's definitely not the pace where he would have expected to be at the moment, Josh.
Definitely not. I think a 128.4 in Tier 1 is not where you want to be. You would want to be in the 127s at least to even have a sniff into Q2. So I'm sure Josh has just got to find some time just to analyse his laps a little bit. We do have a few invalidations. I believe Sanders invalidated his run. So he's gone into the pits because of that. Actually, no, it was his in-lap. Never mind. He invalidated on his in-lap. That's the annoying thing about telemetry sometimes, isn't it? We still got a few drivers yet to set lap times, one of which is Jeffrey Boy in the Williams. We got more drivers just set lap time. CJ just set lap time. Edward just set a lap time. Here comes Jeffrey Boy down towards the final corner, which I treat it as one turn, but the game treats it as two turns. He goes up to the line, 127.8. Nathan, that puts him in P2. Not too shabby.
Not too bad at all from Jeffy in the Williams. Right behind Sander, only 2 tenths behind him. Sander is a debut race here this evening in the Haas. He's been in the Discord since March time last year, but I think he's only ever raced previously once before. I'm not sure it was Tier 1. So yeah, be interesting to see what he can do this evening. You've got the other two Ferraris. I think that's Field Talent just on an outlap. And then you've got the Aston Martin of Deadly. Yeah, so Deadly will be next. And as Jess said, just coming round turn 14 and 15. Pretty much just one corner, but it counts as two as he comes out of the final chicane down towards the line. The bottom 3 drivers will go out as it stands. It's Fanfurness, Mirko and B-Right as Deadly goes P2.
So time's getting very close at the top then. I wonder if that's going to make a difference as to who's going to be fighting for pole or not. We're going to have to wait and see. We do have a few DRS zones around this circuit. Of course, we've got one heading in toward the start-finish straight, and then we got one leading up to turn 4, which you were able to see with Deadly just a moment ago. And that's going to be interesting come the race because we've got quite a few DRS trains, I have to say, as we found out from the earlier tiers later on today. We've got the other Red Bull of Asbil up to the line. He goes 5th fastest, still on the 128. He wants to get into the 127s really, so he probably won't be too happy with that. But many drivers only starting to set banker laps, and it's a difficult circuit, it seems to me. Some people may find it easy, but it's a difficult circuit in terms of traction zones, and for people with ABS off, it's even more difficult.
Yeah, it's just one of them circuits, innit? Either you really like it or you really dislike it. There's never really an in-between when it comes to Bahrain. I'm sitting on the fence of I'm not a big fan of Bahrain. I really struggle around here. I lose the rears quite a lot, and a lot of the other drivers feel similar.
I'm the same.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so tough. I find it so difficult to keep hold of the car, especially going through Sector 1, and I think a lot of the drivers are very similar.
Yeah, I think Sector 1 is the trickiest. It's very technical as well. And even the heavy braking zone going up towards turn 10, you have to kind of brake and turn at the same time. And with drivers using no assist at all, especially with ABS off, it's going to be very tricky. But we've got more drivers finishing their laps, including Galland, who just set a 1. He's just invalidated, never mind. So he's going to go again. We got Ryan Clemenson going in to the pit lane. Quite a few drivers going into the pits actually. They do not have long left to set lap times. A few drivers are going to be out of sync compared to everybody else. Don't forget we lose the slowest 2 drivers. I wonder in that case, and I wonder if some of the faster drivers will only do one run in Q1 and save all their might for Q2, or will they have to put their full guns a blazing throughout the entire session. We will see. I think it depends on the gaps, I think.
Yeah, it's quite spread out at the moment, which I didn't expect to see. As Jess pointed out, I think a 27 is needed around here. And Mirko, a 127.5 from the Williams driver, has pulled out a storming lap. And you've got a couple more drivers coming to the line. You've got Cars, the little Dutchman, will go even quicker at 127.2. Now it is heating up. The Mercedes of Fanfinus, the other Dutchman, starts his lap. Then you've got the Sauber of Epic OJ. The two Saubers were phenomenal last week in Australia, and they're 1-2 in Q1 here in Bahrain. They are showing up. B-Right will be next in the V-Carb.
Great stuff from the Kick Sauber team. I think they're showing why they're the top teams in Tier 1. And I have to say, Mirko is setting the time screen to light as well. Bright came across the line in P6. So more drivers starting to get into the 127s for now. But for some drivers that are not, they got to put their heads together at the moment. The only few drivers yet to set a lap time is Reese down in P15 and the two Mercedes and Ryan Clemson. Those are the drivers who are pretty much in the danger zone. In particular, Reese, who is on that bubble at the moment because he has a higher number in the game, but there we go. But yeah, they're all in danger at the moment, these guys. And if they're in the 128s, I would go out again.
Yeah, I agree, Jess. If I'm in the 128s here, I'm already worried. If I'm Asbill and below, I'm still a little bit wary. Asbill might be safe, but you'll have to see. You've still got Reese, who is the Season 10 World Champion of Tier 1. I'm sure he will bang out a lap. Ryan Clemenson, who finished third last season, and Fanfinus, who was the champion in Season 7. So there's a lot of calibre of drivers that are still coming to the grid, Fanfinus being one of them, and he goes up to P3 into the short 127s, and then you've got Reese in the VCAB, who will be next. Oh, he run it a little bit wide as he went in towards turn 10. The DRS will kick in, the rear wing will open as we head down towards turn 11. Peleback is back as we go down towards the left-hander on board with the Visa Cash App. And he just a little snap there of the rears. He seems to be just jumping around a little bit here, Reese, but he's still putting it together. The lap looks decent. And Reese, who we know is going to be competing for the championship, he started off last season with 4 out of the first 5 wins. Can he do the same here as we head in towards turn 14? Reese still putting it together as we head out of turn 15 down towards the line. And it is P1 with a 126. Finally, we get into the 126s with 5 minutes of Q1 to go, Jess.
I called it. I'm looking at his sector times. He was purple in the first and second sector. He did a 27.8 in the first sector, 37.3 in the middle sector. But he struggled to get things into gear in the final sector. That's where he was struggling. So, but I know he had a bit of a moment in the middle sector in towards turn 10. So he could have found even more time. So watch out for Reese this evening. And there are plenty of stewards that are going to be keeping an eye on this stream today because they've been watching out for track limits because we've been monitoring a little bit of exploits in the game. They will be monitored and the drivers have been warned about that. I can't remember what corners you guys are keeping an eye on, but I think turn 10 and 11 being one of them because you can gain so much more. But if they do gain quite a lot of time and exploit the track limits, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But 4 minutes to go. Unsurprisingly, one of the Kick Saubers has retired. I don't blame them. They're going to be safe already. If I was Reese, I would do exactly the same thing.
Yeah, I'm the same. And yeah, you're right, Jess. It is 10 and 11. And I think the other one was 6 and 7. I'm not sure. But yeah, if the drivers are caught exploiting the track limits, the stewards will step in at some point during the end of the race. That's to avoid the drivers basically getting a bit of a toe off the track and gaining a little bit of time. So Ryan Clemenson in the Red Bull is going to be next. We know how well he did last season. He was teammates to the eventual world champion and he helped him throughout the whole season. He's going to come to the line. It's only P9, a 127.7, and it is really tight from probably P7 all the way down to P12. It is a really tight sector of this sort of grid there, so we're really bunched up. So if you can get any sort of improvement, it'll make a massive difference.
and the track is evolving really, really quickly. With Ryan out on circuit now, I think he's probably going to regret it, but 127s may be okay, but he's not going to set another lap. And we know that some drivers are very capable, in particular the two Ferraris are going quicker than a 128. So if I was P9 downwards, get a move on and get some laps in with 3 minutes and 20 to go. At least we don't have to worry about the weather this week, I have to say. Fan Venus has retired, understandably. I know he is going to be safe. Luckily, Reese has rejoined the session. What can Pele back do, who hasn't set a lap time because he joined midway through the session? He's heading towards turn 10 now. He set a 28.2 in the first set, so that's pretty decent compared to some other drivers. But there are a lot of drivers that can go way quicker than that. He hasn't set the time and squeeze a light though as he heads towards turn 11. Kept it very tight on the track limits there, very lovely. And this is the understeery corner of death, as I like to call it. Turns 12 and turn 13 coming up as well. You're going to aim for fourth gear on exit using a bit of that curb for good measure. That bit of the lap wasn't quite comfortable for the Alpine driver. Let's hope he does better than the Alpine drivers in real life. Heading towards the final two corners. Is it going to be enough to get him out of the drop zone for Q1? Doesn't look like it. Oh, he's on the bubble, Nathan.
He's right on the brink. Pele back reserving here today. He's a tier 2 driver, so he's reserving in tier 1 to see what he can hold up against these caliber of drivers, and he's just not finding the pace at the moment. And now we've got both Ferraris who are sitting in the elimination zone as well, coming back out on track. Gale, who left it very, very late in Australia, is doing the exact same here in Bahrain. He's essentially going for a one-lap shootout, which is really interesting to see. We know Gale's got the pace, but if you make one mistake or you run wide at one corner here in Bahrain, it is all over, and you do not want to start from the back on a track like Bahrain, where it's so difficult when you're stuck in a DRS train to get any sort of leeway on the drivers in front. Yes, you can get an overtake, but not if the driver in front has got DRS, and your battery's essentially useless at that point.
Yeah, he's got one-shot qualifying, and usually when I do one-shot qualifying on this game, I absolutely panic and I don't do the best lap possible because I like having multiple laps just to get a feel for the track, and I like having a delta as well, so I know, oh, I'm green, so I could push a bit more or something like that. But Gele is going to go up to the line and start his lap. He doesn't have that long to go. At the moment, your elimination of drivers are Joshua, Theo and Gele, and they don't want to be in that drop zone. Ed, Pele and CJ and Azabil, they're quite closely packed up and they're going to be in danger as well. So if I were them, I would get a move on. We've got 36 seconds left to go of this Q1 session. If I were the ones near the drop zone, I would be getting very, very worried. You want to be in those 127s if you want to make it. Gale went a little bit wide on the exit of turn 6. That must have cost him quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, so he's just heading around turn 9 and 10. Sorry, I've just got an invite from one of the drivers that was supposed to turn up. So Gale going down towards turn 11, Theo Thailand, Joshua Bear, and these drivers on the brink. We thought Jeffy Boy was safe. He is now really at risk. So is Powertwan and Edward. The checkered flag has waved. Peleback is the first driver out. Joshua Bear in the Ferrari and Theo Thailand, but it will be the Haas that comes through first. That's VGPR Sander, and he goes up to P2 on his debut.
Brilliant.
Asbill is now on the brink, and the two Ferraris and Mercedes to go, Jess.
Yes, we have got people in danger. We got Gale, the first person to cross the line. He hasn't set a lap time. What's it going to be? A 6th place for Gale. We knew he could do it at the end. That drops down the Red Bull driver of Azabil. He's next to cross the line, but he's not set a time to squeeze the light. Joshua is out. Azil, can he do any better? No, he's out as well. So all is left to do is Theo. Could Theo knock Jeffy Boy out of Q1, or could Jeffy Boy stay in? We'll have to wait and see. The answer that is nope. He is qualifying last on the grid. Jeffy, you are one lucky man, because by the skin of your teeth, by 2 attempts, you are safe. So it is Azabil, Joshua, Pele, and Theo not out of Q1.
And you called it right at the start, Jess. You said you will have to be into the 127s to get into Q2. you literally meant it, because every driver that got a 128 is eliminated, and every driver that got a 127 is through. So
Yeah, exactly. It's like people can read my mind.
yeah, brilliant stuff. So Asbel, Josh, Pele, and Theo, who all set 128s, very quick, respectable times, but not enough here in Tier 1 to make it into Q2. Both the Saubers are through, both the Ferraris are out, the McLarens just edged their way through, and then you've got the Alpine of Pele and Asbel in the Red Bull. Asbel, the American driver here in Bahrain, unfortunately the last of the four to be eliminated in Q1. Both Ferraris will be a little bit frustrated, but they can see what they're able to do when they've got 29 laps ahead of them here in Bahrain.
And Bahrain's a track where you can overtake. It's not like some tracks on the calendar where it's hard to overtake. Like Australia, you can overtake, so it's quite easy for them. So they're going to have a lot of work on their hands, but it's going to be a lot easier than some tracks. And the fastest final sector, by the way, belonged to Sander, whereas the first two sectors belonged to Reese. So the top two, if they had the fastest, if any one of those drivers had the fastest three sectors, they would have been miles ahead. But yeah, it just goes to show that Sander pulled off the lap when it counted on the final one. But we are about to get started with Q2.
We are indeed. I'm looking forward to this. It'll be even more competitive than Q3. Sorry, Zora, what was you saying? I will try and send another one in a second. I'm just putting in the stats from that Q1 session. And we're seeing both Ferraris go out there, Asbel go out, and Pele in the Alpine. But Q2 should be right upon us, and as soon as we're in there, Zora, I will get you an invite. There we go. Zora, I know you're an Alpine driver. A reserve is in the Alpine. I will just switch it around at the end. If you do get in, I will just switch the cars around at the end so you're scoring points for the right team and not the wrong one. So we are into Q2, 15 minutes of this session. And we did see both McLarens, Edward and Powertwine. Edward was a Tier 3 driver last season. Unfortunately, he couldn't commit to them times, and he has to race in Tier 1, even though he's not a Tier 1 driver. But he's made it into Q2.
Still pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly that, Jess. He's made it into Q2.
He would have been near the front lot in Tier 2 as well, because I think Paul was in the 27th as well. So for Ed, I think it's always nice, isn't it, when you put up laps that you don't expect. And I've had a few occasions in my league racing career where I had to race in a top tier just for fun, because there was hardly any drivers, and you just learn so much more from the drivers around you, because you may think, oh, how are they finding time on this lap, where are they braking, where are they gaining time with track limits, stuff like that, and how are they building up their racecraft. It's always so lovely to see. So Edward is going to get some very great experiences here in Tier 1 this evening. But in this session, 5 more drivers get knocked out, and we will have a top 10 that will get into pole position. No offence to Ed, I wouldn't expect him to make it through into Q3, but if he does, fair play to him, Nathan.
Definitely, absolutely, that's very true. I will be surprised if he does, but I'll be very impressed if he does at the same time. He's done a cracking job getting into Q2, the McLaren driver, and he got into the 127s. There was a lot of drivers, 4 drivers that weren't able to get into them 127s. And Jess is absolutely right. When you go into a tier that's not usually your tier, you can learn tremendous amounts, especially when you were talking about racing lines. We're talking about entries and exits. Oh, I've just seen Deadly lose the rears in that Aston Martin. That will have cost him loads of time. So we'll go on board with the other driver that's just in front of him. That's Jeffy Boy in the Williams, that special Gulf livery, on board with him as he comes around at turn 5 and 6. A very tricky part of the circuit, through the S as he goes. But yeah, Edward will learn so much more racing with drivers that are a little bit quicker than he would racing with drivers that are a little bit slower. So yeah, he will come out of this a much better driver than what he went into it.
And that's why we encourage drivers to, in any league, to not sandbag, because if you are in a higher tier than expected, again, you can also learn quite a lot, because I think you'll learn better by competing against faster drivers than competing against drivers that are way out of your league that are slower than you, and you're just dominating and winning by like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want that. We want to be in battles, for goodness sake, as he heads towards turn 13 now. The fastest first sector, by the way, at the moment belongs to the other Williams of Mirko. Fastest middle sector belongs to Ryan Clementson in the Red Bull in P3 at the moment on our screen. But he goes up to the line, Jeffy boy. What can he do? He goes fastest, but we know that there are some faster drivers out there on the circuit. And Gellender's just proved it, a 1:28.0 for the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, so the drivers are just setting them banker laps. I feel like I'm the same. I don't like doing a one-lap shootout. I like to get a decent lap, and I like to see it go green and know where I'm improving and know where I'm gaining. And these drivers, they've set 127s. They've all progressed into Q2, and now they would have come out on the same set of tyres that they set the lap in Q1. They would have set a decent lap. That's why you're all seeing them back in the 128s. But as soon as they get onto them fresh tyres again, you're going to see these 127s, low 127s, and these mid 126s just come raining in at the end of this Q2 session.
Yeah, bearing in mind, depending on their tyre strategy, I think if I was racing in this league, I would have gone for the harder tyre allocation, which means that you would only have 3 sets of softs for qualifying if you are in Q1 and Q2, as Ryan goes fastest with a great lap time, by the way, on used softs. But you would want to use your softs wisely. If you wouldn't want to use the previous softs straight away, because you're not going to have enough for the end of Q2. And then every driver that makes it through into Q3 has at least one fresh soft left, so they can get their final runs in nice and dandy. 4,000, by the way, Nathan, separating Cars and Ryan Clementson in P2. That is very impressive. The top 10 has set laps at the moment. All is left at the moment out of the ones on track is Reese to set that. He was fast in the first session. Can he be fast in the second session? We'll have to wait and see. He is also on a used set of the soft compound of tyres. So we'll see what he can do.
Yeah, and Reese is on and out lap now, just coming up. Oh, there's a Williams just off the track there, just moving out of the way. I think he has completely stopped. There we go. He gets moving again. So yes, Reese will be next to set a lap time. Cars and Ryan Clementson and Mirko all in the 127.8 on them used soft compounds. I must say, in the race earlier, I did go for the harder compound setup as well, but that's because I race in a tier that's too quick for me, so I knew I weren't going to get into Q2, so I went for the harder compound anyway, just to give myself an extra set of hards during the race. So on board with Reese as we come through turn 1 and 2. Right, the curb out of turn 3, that rear wing wide open, giving him an extra little bit of horsepower as we ride on, but he's using them older softs from Q1. You can see the wear on the front left and the rear left as 13% each, 10% on the right rear and 7% on the front right. So Reese seeing what he can do on the used compound tyres as you come down in towards turn 10, where that DRS will just kick back in. It kicks in quite early on, and if you've got a driver in front of you there for the picking, it's a great place to get an overtake as we head towards the border marks. He slams on the brakes at the 50 metre and then around the left-hander into the long right-hander. You don't want to take too much of the curb, but you want to keep it nice and tight. Perfectly done there from Reese, and then in towards turn 13. It is a purple sector 2 for the VCARB driver. He's still not quicker than Cars in sector 1. And then down in towards turn 14 and 15 for the Racing Bull, who looks very racy indeed. Out of the final chicane, down towards the line we go. Restart, the Season 10 World Champion, a 127.3 on used softs is phenomenal.
Wow. Yusuf, I think he's going to be the man to beat. I'm almost certain of that. I'm quite surprised that he did it on used soft, to be honest. I wonder if he's going to use softs in the race where if we get a late safety car. I won't be surprised if he does so, to be honest. I'm still quite shocked he's managing to get closer to the 26th on a used set of softs. He's going to be one of the favourites for the championship, I think, along with the Kick Saubers. And speaking of Kick Sauber, we got one driver out on circuit at the moment. It is Epic, who is 12th at the moment, who has not set a lap time. He's purple in the middle sector, so he's going to try and challenge Reese for that front spot in Q2. Heading in towards turn 14 now, really comfortable on the throttle. B-Right goes fastest, almost in the 126s. Can Epic go in the 126s? Yes, he can! Brilliant lap!
Brilliantly done. An epic lap from Epic OJ. He goes fastest at 126.9. You had the VCAM B-Right 127.006 from the current reigning world champion of B-Right. And Reese, his teammate, who is a phenomenal driver. He is absolutely the man to beat, Reese. And I think everybody knows that. He was last season. He got pipped to the title. But yeah, he will absolutely be phenomenal here in Bahrain. He was last season as well. Deadly in the Aston Martin and McLaren of Powertwan. Powertwan has invalidated it. So then it goes to the other driver in the Rebel. I think he's pitting. So yes, we will stay on board with Deadly in the Aston Martin as he comes around turn 12 and then in towards turn 13 for the Aston Martin driver. Then you've got this nice long straight. He's half a second up. He's run wide. Oh, a huge snap there, Jess.
Yeah, he lost quite a bit of time there. I wonder how much time he lost compared to the other drivers around him. We'll find out in just a moment. But Deadly, if I was him, I would maybe just set a banker and see what you could do here. 128.0, that is not going to be enough as it stands to get through into Q3. He needs to set an almighty lap. We'll hope he's got some fresh tyres under his back pocket, because otherwise that lap is not going to be good at all. We've got more cars out on circuit. Quite surprised at the moment, but they want to get some laps in straight away. One of them is the Kick Sauber of cars. We've got Famvinus going on a in-lap, and we got Jeffrey Boy out there on another run now, and it is a 127.5 for him, which is I'm trying to see if it's on new softs. Yes, it is on new softs.
So Jeffy Boy on them fresh compound tyres into the mid 127s. I think that is going to be roughly where you want to be. I think by the end of this qualifying session in Q2, I think a 127.5 is going to be the cut-off mark for the bottom five from 15 to P10. So he's going to be there. Cars, Ryan Clemenson, Merkel, Gale, Deadly are all going to have to improve. We know that Sanders got pace. We know that Abaddon Dom 4 has got pace. CJ, Edward and Powertwan. I think this is that is where you're going to have to be aiming for the 0.5s. We're going to see a lot of drivers in the really short 127s, and we're going to see them into the late 126s before we head into Q3. So it's going to be a really interesting end to this qualifying with 4 minutes to go. Really competitive out there, and it's amazing to see these drivers really bunched up.
One driver I'm really shocked about being in the drop zone at the moment is Sander, because he was in Q1 the second fastest. He set the fastest last sector as far as I remember from the first session. So I'm shocked to see that he's there at the moment. Of course, Ed would expect Powertwan. I would expect him to be higher up as well. So Sanders got quite a bit of work to do. He wasn't very happy with his lap time, and I know some drivers that are in 6th, 7th territory will want to improve on their lap as well, including this man. Cars, what can he do in the Kick Sauber? 126.9, that's more like it. That should see him safely through into Q3. Fafnus has retired from the session. Hopefully it's not a track crash that retired him. But you were saying 127.5, 127.4 cut-off. Reese is retired as well. I wouldn't do that, Sunshine. I think people could go way quicker than that. Be right. I understand that I think it'll be fine, but the top three should be safe, but everyone else should have gone out again, but they're risking it. They should be fine anyway, but you never know with these drivers.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have maybe waited just to see what the times were of the drivers that were going round. They probably will be safe looking at that time, but you've still got a lot of quick drivers who all of them times that they've set are on old softs. Well, used softs, not essentially old, but they're used softs. They're going to come out on fresh tyres and they're going to be absolutely flying. And the first one to do so is going to be Dom 4 in the Alpine. Ryan Clemenson, sorry, is half a second up already, so he's going to go in front of most of these drivers down in towards turn 14 for the Red Bull.
You could see that he was in neutral medium ERS for quite a bit, and he's just about got enough to get onto the straight, and he goes full fast. He's a 127.2. That is enough, I think, for Q3, and I think if I were Reece downwards, I would be getting very, very worried sitting in that cockpit, because we got 7th downwards going on out laps at the moment, and boy, oh boy, this is going to get to a very tasty qualifier. You can let us know in the chat on who you think is going to get pole position. Cars, understandably, has retired from the session, because I think there's no way anyone is going to be on that in their lap. Deadly on the bubble. Again, he's a massive shock as well. Again, he messed up on his lap. He's got quite a bit of work to do now if he doesn't want to see a shock Q2 exit in Formula 7 racing in the Tier 1. Same with Sander as well. But with almost a minute to go of this session, we'll have to wait and see who's going to make it through into Q3. I think we're going to see at least 1 or 2 upsets.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see some upsets here. Dom 4 has gone P6. He's already gone quicker than Fanfinus. Jeffy Boy doesn't think his 0.5 is safe, and he is on his way back out of the pit lane with 50 seconds to go. The Haas driver of Sander goes P4 at 127.0, so they are all improving. They're finding that pace on the circuit. You've got Ryan Clemenson, he's on his in lap. Then you've got the driver behind him, Jeffy, on his out lap. Everybody else is flying. So Power Twan will be next. He's coming down towards turn 14 and 15. He's yet to set a lap time. He hasn't even got a banker on the board. This is all of nothing. This is it. He has a little snap coming out of the final corner. Will that have cost him time? It is going to cost him time, and it's a 0.5, but it's not quick enough. He isn't going to get into Q2. Mirko has invalidated it. He's used half his battery, and he's only got 10 seconds left.
That he's not going to have enough battery to get it to do another lap. So I believe, Nathan, that is him out of qualifying. And I did say, commentator's curse, sorry, that we could have an upset. I was not expecting him to have an upset this evening. Gele, who knocked himself out of the danger zone in Q1. Can he do the same in Q2 for Q3? We'll have to wait and see. Here comes Gallen. Yes, he does. That pushes Deadly out of the session. CJ is out of the session. Power Twan, he is stopped on the circuit. He is out as well. Ed goes up to the line. Oh, it would be great if he gets through, but unfortunately he doesn't. I believe that is it. Again, Jeffrey Boy just about makes it by a few 100ths of a second.
Wow, that is brilliant. So Mirko, obviously, he's still pushing. He's still got a feeling that he can do something, but I think even if he is improving, it's all going to fall apart through Sector 3 with no battery. He's going to lose tremendous amounts of time down this straight coming out of turn 13.
He's hardly on any battery.
Yeah, he's got no battery. He is actually 700ths up on his lap time, but it's nowhere near enough to get him through now. A 0.5 was the benchmark, and even Deadly missed out with it. And Powertran, you were right, Jess, it was a bit quicker than that. 0.4, and Mirko spins it. That is it. They are out. Both Aston Martins, both McLarens, and a Williams out.
And a few shockers there as well. This is going to make for an interesting mid-pack in the race, because they want to try and see if they can climb their way up the order. And with the championship holding it up as it is already, if I was Mirko and Deadly, I'll be very disappointed with that. I wonder if anyone in the chat was predicting those drivers to get through into get out of qualifying. Jeffrey Boy actually improved on his lap time, Nathan. We were so concentrated on the lower half of the grid, we didn't know that Jeffrey Boy was out there doing it on a lap. He did a 127.3. He was definitely safe anyway. So if I was him, I would have gone to the pits and saved a fresh share of tyres for Q3. But he probably didn't know at the point that he was still safe, so he's in 8th anyway. So he was just on the cusp for being safe in Q1, but in Q2 a bigger gap. I think he's got a 10th buffer this time.
Yeah, he has. So it's epic, OJ. And the Sauber teammate of cars that finished 1-2 in Q2. It's B. Wright to Sander in P3 and P4, Ryan Clemenson P5, Gale P6, Reese in P7, the favourite for the championship. Then you've got Jeffy Boy in P8, Dom 4 in P9 and Fanfitness in P10, but it's the bottom 5 that go out. Deadly, Powertrans, CJ, Mirko and Edward all eliminated in Q2.
I don't think anybody was expecting that. Jeffy Boy in the chat, in the Twitch chat, I'm looking at it now, saying he wasn't 100% sure that he was safe or not, so he went for it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Just have a bit of fun. He must have felt very happy when both of his laps were enough for Q3 anyway. But every single driver in this session will have at least one set of softs left, so I would expect everybody to be on fresh tyres, apart from the ones near the front of the grid, so maybe the two Saubers, be right, the ones who retired earlier on in the session. I would expect them to have two fresh sets of qualifying to be happening at the moment. So we'll have to wait and see. Mirko said he binned it on purpose because he wanted to fight from the back. Okay then.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, of course you did, Mirko. That Italian spark just didn't spark today, I tell you. Mirko actually is a very quick driver, and I'm surprised to see him go out in Q2. But that's how it goes sometimes in qualifying. You miss out, or you make a mistake, or you leave it too late, or you invalidate your lap. There's so many reasons. That's why qualifying is so important. When you've got a driver like Mirko, who should be fighting for the championship this season, he's now out in Q2 and he's got a lot of drivers to navigate through to get back to the front. And with the calibre of drivers that he's going to be up against, it's going to be really difficult to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what he does in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think we know that he probably likes his track anyway, so I would expect Mirko to climb up positions, and if he doesn't, then he's probably regretting starting near the back. Now, I'm going to put my call for pole position. I don't usually do this, but we did, when I was commentating with you last week, we didn't even have a full qualify.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put my money on one of the kick Saubers to get on pole position, and I think it's going to be Cars that's going to get pole position. But literally anyone who was top 5 in the last session, I think, could do it. There was quite a few drivers I saw in the 126s. We're going to have to wait and see. You can see quite a bit of traffic in the middle set. So I'm trying to see who's the first driver out on the circuit. I believe it's one of the kick Saubers, I believe, or it might be someone else. I don't know. But everyone's starting their laps. They got 10 minutes to go. It is a fight for pole position here in Tier 1.
It is indeed. I will tell you a funny story actually, Jess, about Cars. In season 4 or 5, I think it might have been 4, Cars was actually a Tier 2 driver. He was racing for the championship. He's getting a huge toll from his teammate of Epic OJ down towards turn 4. Great stuff. He's from the Netherlands, Cars, and he was competing in the championship against another driver from the Netherlands called Lude Drak. And Cars was 48 points clear going into the final 2 races of the season. He got no points in the second to last race, and Lude won. And then in the final race of the season, Cars spun it with 2 laps to go, finished outside the points, and Lude won the race, and he ended up losing the championship by 2 points.
No way, like in real life.
Yes.
With Max Verstappen and Lando Norris.
Exactly.
Oh my word.
So it's great to see him doing so well in Tier 1 now. He's really progressed as a driver over the years as he's grown and matured. And he's unbelievable pace at the moment. He's setting, obviously he's setting purple sectors because there's nobody else setting purple sectors. So.
And it is Epic that is setting purple sectors, not Cars.
Oh, it is. I'm riding on board with Epic. You're absolutely right. Yes.
Yeah, Cars is on an outlap.
Yes,
but speaking of Epic, he's heading up towards the line, and he goes fastest, 1:26.7 for his first lap. He's definitely on fresh tyres. I can almost certain of it. Whereas Sander comes across the line, he goes in to P2 at 1:27.6. That was definitely on a used set of the soft compound of tyres. More drivers are setting laps then. At the moment, we've got the Red Bull of Ryan Clemenson going up to the line next. We'll see what he could do. He's got a 1:26.7 to beat. Can he do it? No, he can't. He stays in third. He's got a lot of work to do there we've got Galland, who's also about to finish his lap. He goes third, and there's still more drivers yet to set lap times, including the championship favourite, Reece Dye, in the V-Carb.
Yeah, so Reece just coming through that wiggly S section through at the start of sector 2, and then he just comes around turn 8 and 9. A little bit of traffic in front of him. That is a Mercedes and a Williams just in front of him that just needs to navigate around. Sorry, an Alpine, as Dom Ford just gets out of the way, and Reece is back through with that rear wing open, getting that extra little bit of pace. Epic OJ setting his lap 1:26.7 on them fresh softs. Everybody else back out on them used softs, just getting that banker lap in before they go for them final runs. Reece going purple sector 2 around turn 13. Oh, and he runs just slightly
Invalid.
wide, just literally by millimetres, and it's invalidated.
Let's go on board with Cars, who's just done a purple first sector, but he was struggling a little bit in the middle set compared to everybody else. So we'll see what he could do in comparison to his teammate. Is it going to be enough to go fastest? No, 2/10 slower than his teammate, but still quite a solid lap for the Kick Sauber team. He is a 1-2 for Kick Sauber, and I don't think anyone's going to beat that in his first stage of qualifying session, unless you're B-Right going up to the line. He's also on a fresh set of the soft tyres. 1:26.9 puts him second fastest. That's advantage of you having fresher rubber and having the confidence that you're going to make it to Q3. You could have 2 attempts to set good lap times, and B-Right, he's got only a few tenths to find for Epic, but at least he knows what he's done right and what he's done wrong. So brilliant stuff from all of them so far. Reece only driving to set a lap. He's theoretically doing a one-shot qualifying later on, but 1:26.7 is a one to beat. I expect a 1:26.5 or 1:26.4 for pole position.
Yeah, I think we'll be around that. I think you're right. Epic OJ at the moment a 1:26.783. Reece has gone for another outlap, I think. Yeah, he's not using his battery, so I think he's just building his battery back up, and then he's going to go for another lap. But you can see the tyre wear on the screen. It is 7% for the lefts and 4 and 5% on the rights now, because he's had to wait and use 2 laps of them soft compounds before he gets a lap on the board. Oh no, he's back into the pit lane, so he's going to forget that, scrap it, and go for that 1 lap shootout with 5 minutes to go. Every driver on the grid has set a lap, barring Reece, and we've got a mixture, 1:26s, 7s and 8s at the moment. Really interesting.
A quite mixed bag, it seems, in terms of qualifying. I'm loving this at the moment, and we only got a few minutes to wait until we find out who's going to be on top in the circuit of the Sakhir International Circuit, of course. And it actually won a testing circuit in real life, so the real life drivers know it very well. It used to be the opening round of the season, so for many seasons in Formula 7 racing, a lot of people know this track inside and out, but it has changed over the years in terms of the technicalities, and it's a bit more difficult on this year's game. But we got drivers out on 1 laps already. Abaddon in the Alpine, I'm quite shocked he's gone out, to be honest. I thought he would have waited a few minutes, but maybe he wants to get 2 runs done. I don't know, but I'm not expecting him to set the time his screens alight. So why not get some practice in, ready for the race?
Yeah, anything can happen in the race, and the drivers know that. And a bad on 4, we'll be looking at just getting a decent 1:27, maybe into the 1:27 4s or 3s to try and get quite a decent lap on the board. But I expect to see a lot of drivers hitting the 1:26s when they come out for their final runs. He's going to have a clear track in front of him if he gets a move on. If he waits a little bit longer, he might start to get all the drivers pouring out for their outlaps. So he needs to get a bit of a move on, a bit of a shimmy as he comes through turn 13 and down towards turn 14 as he drives underneath the Fanatec billboards, as you can see on your screens. Thank you all for tuning in. Yes, it is me and Jess, and yes, it is 6.7. What's
Grow
going
up,
on,
guys,
everybody?
in the chat. Grow up.
So Dom 4 will get us underway for... He will be the first of the final runners, Jess.
Yep, first of the final runs in qualifying, heading in towards turn one. He used quite a bit of battery heading towards the start-finish straight. Then we'll see what he could do heading towards turn number 4 with the ERS deployment. Then nicely done through there, clips a little bit of the inside curb in towards turn 5 now. The prize, he hasn't used much of his overtake there, to be honest. He wants to save a little bit of battery, probably towards the back straight in towards turn 10. His first sector was a 28.033, so nothing too spectacular, but enough that could upset quite a few drivers tonight. He's deploying battery at the moment, DRS wide open for the Alpine driver. Nicely done from him, using quite a bit of that curve to gain momentum in towards turn 11 and 12. If I was him, I would deploy a bit of the battery here, which he is doing right now in that Alpine. Middle sector of 37.483. He's 3 tenths slower than Epic. So this was a solid lap time from the Alpine driver. But again, we know that Epic BY cars and Fabianus could go even quicker on their lap times. But for Alpine driver of Abaddon, this is going to be good so far. He goes up to the line. What's it going to be? 1:27.2. He lost all that time in the final sector. I wonder if he's going to have time to go again. I don't think he has enough fuel left. So that is it there for him. But for everybody else then, apart from Abaddon, let's see what they could do. Up next on a lap time is Sander in the Haas.
Yeah, so Sander will get us underway. 1 minute and 20 to go here in Bahrain for the final qualifying session. That was quite neat through there for Sander. You can tell he was pushing extremely hard as he came through there and down towards turn 4 for the MoneyGram Haas driver. Soon to be TGR next season. I think it's TGR. Anyway, through turn 5 and brilliant. Through turn 5 and 6 down towards turn 7 and 8 into the hairpin he goes, and then you've got to be so careful on the exit here. You've got to feather the throttle. You go down too early and that's it, game over. In towards the left-hander, nice and tight to the apex. Little bit of traffic in front of him. That's an Alpine that he's going to get a huge slipstream from. Sander is taking advantage of the driver in front who just didn't see him, so he's got a nice little tow from a rival driver. I think that was Dom 4 as well, around the long right-hander that is turn 12 into turn 13. He's half a second up here, Sander. He's into the 127.1s. Now he's going to go even further. It's surely into the 126s as we head down towards the final corner here in Bahrain with 10 seconds to go. All of the drivers out on track. Reese is still yet to set a lap time. To the checkered flag we go, and it's a 126.8 for Sander.
Oh, that was so close. He was purple in the middle sector, Nathan.
Wow.
That toe definitely gave him a few extra tips. So he's got Dom 4 to thank right now at the moment. We got Epic, who's done a 27.8 in the first sector. We got a purple middle sector. In the first sector, sorry, 4 cars. He didn't say a purple middle sector. That belongs to his teammate of Epic. We'll see what cars could do first as he goes up towards the final corner. We'll keep an eye on what his teammate does in just a moment. Will it be a Sauber 1-2 like we predicted? We're going to have to wait and see. Cars goes up to the line. He goes top with a 126.6. What can his teammate do? Can he go even quicker? No, he doesn't improve at all. 126.7 is where he remains. Unfortunately, still drivers yet to set times. We got Reese who goes up to the line, and it's a stellar lap from Reese. The first sector was a bit naff, but the middle and the final sector was absolutely incredible for Reese. What could Bright do in that V car? He is on a 126.9. He only improved in the middle sector, and that's all he's going to do right now. He only goes 4 fastest. We saw one of the Mercedes go to 7th. I don't think Sander is improving because he's invalidated. So that is it then. Reese is on pole position by 3 tenths, and he only needed 1 lap.
What a lap that was, Jess. He's just out-qualified the field by 3 tenths of a second. That is massive. 3/10 of a second separate P2 to P7, and Reese has separated him from P1 to P2. But you were absolutely right. Cars was there. He was right there if it hadn't have been for Reese. The two Saubers look phenomenal, but Reese is in a league of his own. His teammate down in P5, Sander on his debut in P4. The two Mercedes will start on the grid side by side on the fourth row of this grid here in Bahrain. But what an end to the qualifying session that was.
I was not expecting Reese to go even quicker. Like, I was expecting him to even challenge for pole, but I wasn't expecting him to be about a few tenths quicker. I have to say that is absolutely incredible, and the top three separated by 4/10 of a second. I'll let you go through the order for the top 10 on who is starting where.
So Reese will start on pole position for tonight's Grand Prix. You've got Cars starting alongside him in P2. On the second row of the grid, it's Epic OJ in P3 and VGPR Sander in P4. On the third row of the grid, B Right and Ryan Clemenson in P5 and P6. On the fourth row of the grid, Fanfinus and Gale in at P7, P8. And then Dom 4 and Jeffy complete the top 10, starting in the Alpine and the Williams in P9 and P10. B Right and Ryan Clemenson, by the way, in the Red Bull and the Racing Bull, teammates from last season, locking out the third row of this grid.
Kind of wish they probably were teammates again this season, potentially with their great qualifying. For the race, then, it's going to be interesting. We know the softs are an absolute nightmare around this circuit, like I was speaking about last week in Tier 4. Just avoid the softs at all costs, because in 35%, 25% is fine, but in 50%, you would rather be going on the mediums and the hards. Two stops is going to be more likely for the drivers, but we might see drivers gamble for the one stop again, like we saw. We thought we would see last week, but in all tiers, I think we just. In the lower tiers in particular, we saw safety car after safety car after safety car, so we couldn't really tell if the one stop or the two stop was quicker. But hopefully, we'll see this week which is the quicker strategy. I still think the two stops are quicker strategy, in my opinion. Maybe even two mediums for people that are brave enough. I don't know. I haven't done a 50% race around this track on this game. So we'll find out then. And we'll see if Reese can convert pole position to a win. Can Sander do well on his Tier 1 debut? We'll find out as well.
Yeah, so you're probably right, to be honest, the two-stopper. There's been some good one-stoppers today, but ultimately it's been two-stopper for all the race winners today. The 3 race winners that we've seen already have all been two-stoppers. The one-stopper, we had Jennifer Lee finish P4 in Tier 4 with the one-stopper, and it is doable, but it's very unlikely unless you time it right and you get a safety car at the right time. As we said in Tier 4 with me and Jess last week, we had 5 safety cars in the opening 19 laps, so we didn't get to see much. So we're hoping for a bit better this week.
Please, if we get more safety cars this week, I'm gonna cry. So let's hope we don't get that this week. But we're gonna have a rough idea now on what tyres everyone is gonna be starting. And I thought nobody is gonna go on to the soft compounder tyres. We do have people on the soft compounder tyres. Joshua is on the soft. Oh, that is very brave from him. We've got one disqualification already. Most people are on the mediums, apart from Ryan Clemenson in P6, Jeffrey Boy Deadly, Power Tran, and CJ, and Asbil and Pelibet. Those drivers that I mentioned on hards. Joshua's on the softs, and everyone else is on the mediums. I would have started on the mediums if I was in this tier, just to get good grip, last for a bit longer, and then go on to the hards later on. But Josh starting on softs, that's a bit of a gamble. I think he's expected to climb his way up through the field. If he doesn't, him starting on the soft would be complete nonsense.
Yeah, he's either going to look very silly or make us look very silly. There's no in between here. So either it's going to pay off or it's not going to pay off. I'm not sure softs would be the choice for me, especially in a tier like this, especially when the drivers are so good. You can't really afford to make a mistake, or you can't afford to have that little bit of leeway like you might get in another tier. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on them softs as all the drivers come to the grid to line up. Theo Townland, the Swedish driver, already on the grid waiting for them with them really nice and cold tyres that have been cooling off for around a minute or so. As you can see, all the billboards and the sponsors around the circuit, the sponsors above the 5 red lights on your screens right now. Big shout out to Sim Racing Setups. If you are looking for the perfect race setup, use F7R at the checkout and you'll get a 5% discount on your order. All the champions from last season did receive a voucher as well. So here we go for Tier 1 for round 2 here in Bahrain. And it's lights out and away we go. Reese did get a good start. He's trying to come over though in front of cars. The Dutchman was a little bit quicker on the throttle as they head down in towards turn 1. You've got the Haas coming right down the inside into the hairpin. A couple of touches between the drivers, but Reese is down to P2 cars. The Dutchman leads. Sander is into the podiums. Epic OJ is dwindling down. Ryan Clemenson has retired. There's a safety car. Ryan Clemenson is out.
That is a shot because he qualified in the top 5, I believe, as well. And his teammate, Azabil, has not got to a great start either. He's got no damage, of course, but he's dropped down into P18. But a safety car on lap 1 already. I was not expecting that in Bahrain, but that just resets the grid a little bit. But I'll be intrigued to find out what happened there. And I'm sure Ryan could explain from his POV on what happened, because we didn't really see it. All we just saw was Ryan retire. So that's not good, because I was expecting him to climb up way up the field. First safety car of the day, apparently. Is that right? In any other tier, we had no safety cars.
Not a single safety car all day in all the other 3 tiers, and then this one comes.
It's because I'm here,
I
isn't
know,
it?
I know. It's you. It's the commentator's curse. Jess turns up and we see a safety car. So, oh god, I can't believe we've just got a safety car. Our first one of the day on lap 1 here in Tier 1. There's a little bit of drama going on at the back. I'm not sure what's going on, but there's a McLaren that's slowed right down, and he's dragged everybody else with him. He's got a time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Not sure what happened there.
That's Edward, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's got. Now that is interesting. I think both McLarens was shocking a little bit there. I'm also looking around for drivers that have got damage. The Aston Martin of CJ has got damage. We got Sandu's got a 10-second penalty. I believe that's for ignoring yellow flags as well. Quite a few warnings have been picked up on lap 1. Oh, it's just chaos already, isn't it? But unsurprisingly, a lot of people are going to stay out. But, of course, with CJ, he's going to have to come in, because there's no way with 40% damage on the front left that he's going to make it through this restart.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to get in and get that front wing changed, because you just won't be able to keep up. I'll be very surprised if he tries to stay out. Yeah, not really sure what happened there. Let's have a look at the reaction times, because we've seen cars take the lead. So the reaction time was 5.53 for Cars and Reese, exactly the same time. So we've seen that Reese got a really good start, and then we've seen Cars go right up behind him. They were exactly the same reaction times. B right in the 5.53s. And then we go down. Epic OJ was a little bit slower, 5.63. 5.63 from Sander, 5.43 from Fanfiner. So really quick reaction times from some of these drivers. Usually you would see 6s, but not in Tier 1. These guys are on it. As soon as them lights go out, they are on it straight away.
They want to get into turn 1 as quickly as they can, because, of course, they want to gain as many positions as they possibly can. And I think turn 1 with these guys, because it's such an easy track to overtake, they want to get them underway very soon. And it's high tyre wear as well. So the sooner you get the moves done, the easier it becomes. And if you don't get the moves done, the harder it becomes, because you're going to have so much tyre wear to deal with, and it's going to be hard to overtake in terms of the DRS trains.
Yeah, absolutely. So the safety car is going to be out for another lap. All the drivers grouped up, and the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, because there'll be no reason for it to stay out. CJ, for some reason, has stayed
He's
out.
staying
Now,
out.
that has completely baffled me because the safety car has stayed out. So there's no reason why he can't go in, get that front wing repaired, and get back out to join the back of the pack. He's only in P13, so he would only lose 5 places but get the front wing repaired. Edward is in the pits serving his 10-second penalty, so he's getting rid of that, which is smart, and he's just going back onto another set of mediums. That is exactly what I thought CJ should have done, Jess.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the clip that Ryan has put in the chat about what happened into turn one. Basically, a lot has happened. There was, I think, a few cars ghosted for him. He thought he could just go through. He made contact with a few drivers, had a bit of a flip, and then went into the Mazepin corner and he retired. So basically, that's what happened to him, and that's why he's out of the race. I'm almost certain that a few incidents will be investigated because of that. But unfortunate for Ryan for what happened. I'm still perplexed with what happened there, but with a few cars ghosted for you. But if I were you, Ryan, do not go for them. Do not try and go for the move of the cars too close if they're ghosted, because they won't be ghosted for long, if not at all.
Yeah, sorry, I was just having a look to see if we could get that up on the screen, that replay, but yeah, I was just having a look at it as well. So...
The safety car should be coming in this
the
lap,
safety
though.
car will be in this lap, so we will just have a quick...
I'll keep an eye on it. You keep loading it.
There we go. So this is the clip. So he's ghosted. He's gone down the inside. He's lifted over the top, and around goes the Red Bull. He's still clinging on and into the wall. That is so unfortunate. Yeah.
Safety car is in this lap.
Safety
There's a
car's in
late
this lap.
safety car restart, it seems. As Carl is going to
There
be the
we
one
go.
that leads for the way. Take it away, Nathan.
So we are back on board with cars in the Sauber. Reese is all over the back of him into the slipstream. Can he pip him down in towards turn one? Mirko and Jeffrey swap around the two Williams, but Reese is going to go at the inside. He thinks better of it, but Cars leaves the door wide open, basically inviting him in. But Cars got the better exit, pushes Reese off the track. Sander is through on Epic OJ. Fanfinus and Dom 4 change positions. Here comes Gayley in the other Mercedes wanting a piece of the action. Deadly in the Aston Martin will go later on the brakes around the outside of Jeffy Boyd, but everybody is scrapping as Joshua Bear on them soft compounds is up to P11, and that is Power Twan with a power spin, and he's into the wall.
And he's got damage on both the front wings, so that's not going to be good at all. And Joshua, he's done the right thing. Oh no, he's made contact with Jeffy Boy in the background on the exit of turn 8, and we said he had a good restart, but unfortunately his hard work has become, well, undone really for the tier 3 commentator, which is a bit of a shame really. But we've got Gale and Mirko side by side. Gale tries to cover from the inside in towards turn 11. Mirko tries to go around the outside into turn 12 to try and get the move covered, but that's not going to work unfortunately. But we're seeing quite a few people burning off that battery. It took a bit longer for those front tyres to warm up for quite a lot of drivers, especially if you're on the hard compound of tyres. But I think for most drivers, they are warm up now to do anything about it. We've got the leaders now trying to go for it. DRS is enabled, but the detection point is not there yet. Here comes Reese. Carl is saving a bit of battery. He knows the DRS detection point will be coming up in at the next few corners, so he's saving the battery. If I was him, I would burn the battery now. He is burning the battery. Is Cars. I think Reese going to try and do the same. Cars could then save a bit of battery because he knows Reese can't have a slip at the moment due to a long DRS train. So top two remain as they are.
And it's the McLaren of Edward going up the inside of Pele. They're wheel to wheel. He did have a little slide as he went through there into the S's. And Edward is up to P12 as he gets the overtake on Pele back. Theo Townland in the Ferraris into the pit lane. But that was carnage on the safety car restart. And Reese is still eyeing up that Sauber in front. But the two V-carbs in for a double podium after 5 laps of racing, 3 of them behind the safety car. So we will get that DRS very shortly, and Reese will go for this move. As we come out of turn 15, this will be the opportunity for that V-cab to retake the lead. Will this, Jess, have altered any of the driver's strategies with that short stint on the safety car?
I think there will be a few drivers that will probably go and stay out for a bit longer just to stretch out those memes, just so they have a little bit more of a option, because they would have had a little less wear than if there was no safety car. But but I think the hard tyre wear, it probably wouldn't have changed that much. It still would have been a two-stop, but when they pit will probably be different, as Reese, unfortunately, he's not going to try and go for the move there, but he's going to go for the move. Here's Cars attacks a defense from the inside again, throwing towards turn 3. DRS activated once more. I can see Reese's battery. He has not used. He's used a lot, and he's into the 11%. Same with Carl, he's on 19%. Everyone's in the red in terms of battery right now. They haven't got much battery to use. If I were you, there's some places where you could save. Josh has already made his way back up into P13. His troubles in the last few laps have not hurt him, it seems, as he climbs his way up. But he would have been way higher if he didn't get caught up in an incident.
Yeah, he was. He's like a magnet for trouble, Josh, and he really struggles to just stay out of it. And we found that last season. I'm hoping that he has a clean season 12 and manages to just keep out of trouble. But he's still finding it here in Bahrain at the moment. He is starting to get back up through the grid. He's in P13, but we're going on board with the leaders once again, as Reese is only a tenth of a second. A little snap from cars in front, and the Dutchman is dominating. But for how long? Here comes Reese in the V-cab down in towards turn 14 and 15. He's going to get the better exit. He looks like he's got so much more confidence on board that car, and he's so close now. Even B right might try his chances. The V-cab into the slipstream, moves over to the left-hand side, and Cars is going to send him the long way, but keep an eye on B right as well. In the other Racing Bull, he's being patient and waiting, but Cars down the inside, and Reese is through and into the lead of the Grand Prix.
He was 2 tenths faster in that middle sector, which helped him gain the momentum. But Card is not going to give up without a fight. We got B right in there as well, right in the middle of this. Reese has not got just worry about one car, but 2 cars. But he stays ahead for now. Sander is in there as well, and also Cardi's teammate Epic. So there's plenty of drivers that are still in the running for the win of this Grand Prix, and we're not even halfway yet. As we can see, one of the Hasses of Sander trying to get up down the inside of Brighton towards turn 7. Couldn't quite do it at the moment, and of course some people running different liveries. It's so confusing at times whether they're on the same team. But through they go. DRS enabled for most of our drivers apart from Race, but turn 10 and 11 you can hardly overtake anyway. Even though DRS is enabled, I haven't seen much overtakes there in some leagues. I tried doing overtake once there before and I almost crashed it, so I think it's going to be tricky for our drivers. But this is a tier where we could see those overtakes. I'm looking at Sanders' car, by the way, and he's got a bit of damage on the front left. Not much, only 6%, but that might be just enough for him to lose a bit of time later on in this stint. He's going to be fine for now, but as he gets towards the end of his stint, that's where he's going to struggle with the front wing damage.
You're right, he does have a little bit of damage. Be right on the back of cars. I've got to agree with you, Jess. I noticed it before when they were battling near each other, and because B Right and Reese are using different liveries, I actually thought they weren't the same team at one point when I was on board. So it is quite confusing to see 2 drivers who are 1 and 3 in different livery cars. It sort of tricks you as you're riding on board with them. Looking at Pick OJ as well, right on the back of VGPR Sander. He was literally pushing him through the S's, and now he's going to go for that late lunge up the inside. The Sauber driver is taking no prisoners, just touches the side pod of that Haas car. Joshua picks up a time penalty as he gets overtaken by Jeffy Boy in the Williams. The Ferrari lunges back up the inside. He's pushing him off track. They tangle, they touch, they squabble, and the Ferrari is just trying to edge ahead, but the Williams goes later on the brakes. The Ferrari sends him skating around the outside, but the Williams has the better exit and stays in front of Josh.
Josh is not giving up without a fight, is he? On those soft tyres. It's shame he hasn't got all of his telemetry on, because I would have loved to see what his tyre wear was currently on 7 lapped old softs. I bet his tyres would be on around the 50% right now, as Pele is in 13th. We've got Josh in 14th, but Jeffy Boy 15th. We've got the blue cars fighting against the Scuderia Ferrari, and I can tell you what, those tyres for Josh, they're going to be crying for mercy in that Ferrari.
They will, and what I am going to do, Jess, actually, I'm going to ask the drivers again. Oh, Jeffy's round. The Williams is round. He was fighting with
No!
Josh, and Jeffy is round. I'm going to ask the drivers to put their telemetry on again next week because we have got quite a few that aren't using it.
I can pick out. I think I could pick out about quite a few drivers that haven't used it because it just says player.
Yes, exactly that.
Naughty!
Yeah.
Make sure you have your telemetry on next week, folks, and that goes on for every single driver in every single tier.
Yes.
Because otherwise, Nathan, when he does streaming, he wouldn't be able to show you all these lovely liveries every week.
Exactly, and it's
Overlays,
hard as well.
not liveries.
Overlays and all these statistics and stats and everything that we need to make good viewing for you guys as well.
Yeah, exactly. So telemetry on next week, please. That will be lovely. As Mirko's gained quite a bit of time on D4 at the moment in P7. So Mirko, I believe, started quite low down because he got knocked out in qualifying quite early on. Why did he start? He gained 6 places, so he's gained the most out of everybody. Power Twine's got past Josh, by the way, so Josh's tyres is definitely giving up the ghost. But yeah, Mirko out of the runners so far, he's gained the most, and Jeffy Boy's lost the most because he's got dropped down 6 places.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Jeffy in this race so far. Joshua Bear is still in the race. He did have the most DNFs last season. And he DNF'd in Australia, so I'm hoping that he can get a finish here. That is Deadly and Gale. Deadly in the Aston Martin later on the brakes, and there goes Mirko on Dom 4 in the Alpine. The Alpine trying to squeeze him. The Williams trying to stay with him, and Mirko has just got his nose ahead. And it's a sprint race down to turn 4, and the Alpine will come back at him later on the brakes around the outside. Is he going to try and squeeze him? The Williams is back in front. This is a great little tussle. But it is Mirko, the Italian, that just stops him at the moment. But he's going to go for the lunge. Surely he's going to go for it. He is doing. And Mirko just leaving him the space. Yeah.
He realised that there wasn't much space, and if he tried to go for the dive bomb, I think both of them would have ended up in a crash. So I wonder if he's going to go for it here. We'll have to wait and see. We've got penalties for CJ, so that's one of our first few penalties of the session. I think 4 drivers have got track limit warnings so far, and don't forget we got to monitor the track limit warnings in turn 10 and 11 as well, because they won't get pretty much given out to them in the game as well, so that's got to be taken care of for all of our drivers. But so far everyone seems to be behaving itself up front. Reese, by the way, is cleared off of cars in terms of DRS right now. He is flying in that B car. He is definitely faster than Cars, and Cars is going to be left vulnerable now to Bright in that B car. But Cars is struggling. Bright is not in that V-carb, in that pink V-carb, which looks beautiful, by the way. It is a V-carb 1-2, and he's definitely shown that. And we got Deadly and D4 going for the movement towards T1. Deadly covers off on the left-hand side, and D4 down to 9th. Deadly up into 8th. I wonder if we're seeing those hard tyres definitely being the best tyre. I think so. It's around about it's almost a second quicker than used mediums right now.
Yeah, and Gale has gone for the undercut, so he is the first driver to pit. So yes, Deadly did get through in the Aston Martin on the Alpine, and yes, you are seeing it correctly. We have got a VCAR 1-2. They were the favourites for the constructors when we did the spin the wheel at the start of the season to determine who got their teammates. As soon as this was released and Reese and B Right got paired up, everybody just erupted in the chat and said, well, that's game over. And they're showing exactly why everybody erupted. Yes, exactly. They're showing, though, why everybody erupted. But anything can happen in racing. But it is 1-2 at the moment for Reese and B Right.
Yeah, and I think B-Right is definitely faster than Cars right now because he's got one in the DRS race. I wonder if there's going to be team orders. I hope not at this point of the season because we're only on round 2. But we got more drivers in the pits. Bright staying out, of course, because both P-Carbs are staying out. Now, that is interesting. I'm looking at the tyre wear of both the V-Carbs. The rears are... I wouldn't want to be racing in a league race on 66% on the rear left and 54% on the rear right. Now a number that I'm not going to say on broadcast, but yeah, I would box right now. I thought at least one of the drivers will come into the pits and box, but they're going to be left vulnerable. One driver's going to lose out massively.
Yeah, I agree, Jess. Yeah, I don't know why they've decided to stay out even longer, especially when you've got a driver behind trying to undercut them like cars, who's now going to be so much quicker. That means one of them's going to lose a position, but then another driver is going to have to stay out for an extra lap and lose even more positions, especially if Epic OJ or Merco or Deadly go into the pit lane this lap and follow Reese in. Surely they prioritise the leader, which is Reese, if he goes in now. And as you said, the tyre wear for the rear 70%, for the back left 71%, and then B right is 71% as well for the back left. So they are really similar in tyre wear for the drivers, and staying out for another lap on tyre wear like that is going to absolutely kill their race. But you've got to see what the drivers behind do. Epic OJ 1.2 behind. Let's see what the V-Carbs do. It is Reese that gets priority, and it's B-Right that stays out. Epic OJ follows them in, so does Mirko. I tell you, B-Right is going to come out in probably P5 or 6 when all this is said and done.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if the team that's done the best out of this is Kick Sauber, yes, one of the cars are going to lose out. They're not going to lose out as much as the V cars because they thought cars would, as the priority, he's ahead. So he would get the priority there. So here comes cars towards the start-finish straight. We've got Reese, who's just coming out of the pit lane. It's going to be also closing towards turn number 1. But Jeffy Boy has not pitted, and Reese still comes out in the lead by a second. Reese was very lucky there.
Wow.
That he's still out in front.
I'm really, really surprised that Cars hasn't come out in front of Reese there. That has really surprised me.
It must be he must have had a slower outlap.
Yeah.
Because it's important to pretty much push on your outlap to stay ahead. Because otherwise the undercut will be meaningless. So maybe he didn't push as well on his outlap. You got to really push on your outlap. Otherwise, you could struggle there. And I'm going to keep an eye on B-Right as well. 79% on the rear left. Oh, my God. Now 80. I'm surprised his tyres have not punctured yet.
I know that Cars, when he pitted, he had 0% battery. So I'm guessing he's just not pushed at all on his outlap, like he said. And there was no point in the undercut at this point. He's now obviously a second behind Reese and with a lap older tyres. As you said, B-Right, I don't know where he's going to come out here, but this would have killed him staying out for an extra lap. So keep your eyes peeled on this. Reese and Cars, even Epic OJ and Fanfness might be in with a chance at getting in front of B-Right. Let's keep our eyes peeled. B-Right's in the pit stop now, getting them fresh tyres on to the Racing Bull. Reese is coming down the pit lane. So is Cars. Jeffy Boy has stayed out, and he is the one hindering Cars at the moment. And the Racing Bull of B-Right will come out just behind Cars, but in front of Epic OJ. So he's not done too badly considering. But Epic OJ will not let him off the hook. He will be
just
attacking.
One place.
Yeah, just one place, Jess. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were panicking that all the V-cars were going to be an absolute nightmare. They're going to be way down the order. Oh, my goodness. And then B-Right's only lost one place from Reese in the lead. So it shows how quick these two drivers are, because if it was any other teammate, they definitely would have been lower down, but they're quick anyway, so that's probably why. So well done to V-Carb. Yeah. They make the best of a bad situation, and but the kick Saubers, maybe not where they would have liked, but again, only lost one place for Epic, so that's not too shabby for them. So the only ones that are still yet to pit are the ones who started on the hards. That is Jeffy Boy down in 5th, who is going to be, I think, is going to be swamped by everyone that's on fresh hards. We also got Pele, Asbil and Deadly in P1. They're going to hope for another safety car, but how unlikely from the other tiers that we didn't get safety cars. I think we're hardly going to get any. I'm just going to touch wood because I've jinxed one time tonight. I don't want to jinx again, but I would expect the hard runners to come in very soon. At this point of the race, 15 laps on the hards, and they're still on the 60s and the 70s. The tyre wear is massive. A two-stop must happen because otherwise it's just going to be a nightmare towards the end. Cars, by the way, just get past the Williams of Jeffy.
Yeah, Jeffy held up cars a lot there, especially after his undercut. Here comes Fanfrenis and Mirko, the Dutchman versus the Italian, and it is the Mercedes that comes out in front, but Mirko is not going to let him go into the slipstream. The rear wing is wide open, but Fanfrenis is going to send him the long way round as they just tackle each other through turn 4 and 5 in towards the S's. This is going to get tasty through here. The Williams just in front of the Mercedes, and Mirko shows his skill and comes out in front of both Mercedes of Fanfrenis and Gale, who attack the rear diffuser of the Williams in front.
I'm surprised for some of the drivers they didn't get damage after all of that as well. But if they're fighting too much, that's going to hurt their tyre wear because, you know, the longer you're stuck in dirty air, the longer it's going to hinder your tyres. So you really want to be in clear air as possible. But in Bahrain, you're probably not going to get that at this stage. I would expect in a few laps' time the top 3 to come into the pit onto a set of the medium compound tyres. I would expect around lap 17, 18 for them to come into the pit lane. You can see the gap coming down from Pele to Reese. It's 4.5 seconds now, 4.4 almost, going through in towards the start-finish straight. So these drivers have got to get a move on. Reese is effectively your net race leader, and he's 2.2 seconds clear. Be Bright and Jeffy Boy. Bright's got past him now, and he's up into 6th. Epic's got past as well. The Jeffy Boy's not going to be made easy, I have to say, as Epic is finally through.
He is, and the two Mercedes of Fanfrenis and Gale as well are going at it like cat and dog, and Gale pushing Fanfrenis off the track there and gets through and up to P10, so no team orders in the Mercedes garage. What I would say is that B. Wright and Cars were both held up quite significantly from Jeffy Boy in the Williams. They were struggling to get past him, and this has really helped Reese in front of the Sauber and Cars in front of the V-Car. There was a little snap there. I think that was Pele back in the Alpine, who's on the back of Asbil. They are racing for podiums at the moment, but they've not pitted, so just bear that in mind. When they do pit, they won't be racing for podiums. Mirko on Jeffy Boy as well. So team orders come into play in that Williams garage, both using separate liveries as well. So Mirko just in front of Jeffy Boy. Now, here comes the team orders once again. Is the Williams driver of Jeffy going to hold up these two Mercedes? Is Mirko going to slow down and give his teammate DRS so that he can stay in front of these two Mercedes? Surely, yeah, I think he is just slight. Yeah, he did. He slightly lifted just to make sure that Jeffy Boy did get the DRS to stay in front of the two Mercedes.
This is brilliant stuff. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but I'm liking the work that Jeffy's doing right now in that Williams to make sure the Mercedes drivers do not have a sniff, because points mean prizes at the end of the day, and the higher that you finish, the more points you get. So the Mercedes would want to gain the most, but the Williams of Mirko will want to gain the most as well, and that's going to help him in the long run with the clearer air that he's going to get a little bit later on, as we're on pretty much half race distance now at the moment, with Deadly still leading. More track limit warnings for a lot of our drivers. There's quite a few drivers that are close to getting penalties, one of which is our on-track race leader of Deadly. He's on 2 warnings, and one of the Mercedes of Fantasius has also got warning. He's fighting with one of the Williams, and the Williams is going to fight back in towards turn 10, 11 to make a little bit of contact into the braking zone. It's a very hard braking zone. I'm surprised they didn't get damage out of all of that, but both Mercedes eventually get through. I think they had to at this point, because otherwise they're going to lose so much time in comparison to the one on fresher tyres of Mirko.
And did you notice as well, they've now ended up 2 seconds behind Mirko in the Williams, and they were right on the back of him before Jeffy Boy intervened.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the disadvantage of trying to overtake someone with older tyres. I've had that experience as well. Yes, I pitted maybe later than them or faster than them, but you just can't get past. But that's all part of racing, as Reese is trying to get past a driver that hasn't pitted yet of Pele, but he has no such trouble getting past. He just licked the stamp and sent it, as Reese would normally say. So Reese is up into third place on the road, as Josh has gone into the pit lane. He's done 2 soft tyres. I would expect him to go on to mediums until the end of the race. Fair play to him being on soft for most of the race, but unfortunately it's a strategy that did not work for the Ferrari driver at all. Hashtag Ferrari strategy. I don't think the Ferrari team are going to be too best pleased with both their drivers today. More penalties for Theo, as I just said that.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Reese is not getting it easy here. He's had a real scrap with Pele, and now he's having a real scrap with Asbil in the sister car. Reese is finally through, but my goodness, they are unforgiving, them drivers who have yet to pit. They are not fussed at all. They're here to race, and they are not going to just move out the way for anybody, even if you are the provisional race leader. Deadly is 9 seconds up the road, and Deadly is going to go on to the mediums till the end of the race. And he tell you, he's having a good Grand Prix. If they was to have a safety car here, Deadly would be in a really strong position. Maybe that's what he's holding out for, but looking at his tyres, 82%.
Pit stop for Pele.
Wow, Pele back in the pit stops. 83% for the front left of Deadly, Jess.
Yep, and that is just crying for mercy, I have to say, for Deadly. I hope he doesn't get a puncher, as we could see mediums on the car for Pele. He's going to drop way down the order, but he didn't think he was going to get a safety car, and if I was Deadly, I would pit now. I don't think we're going to get any more safety cars, knowing that we'll probably get a safety car in the next lap or two, with the way the guys near the back are fighting.
The way you
CJ's
jinx
coming
us.
to the pit.
Oh, he has got, I think he's got a puncher, Jess. You called
is
it,
he?
you jinxed us again. He's got a puncher front left.
Oh my god. I
Yeah.
jinxed quite a few people last week in Tier 4, and people in Tier 1 thinks, oh, not Jess again with our jinxes, and I'm back, people. I'm sorry. And it is the tyre that's growing the most, yeah. How on earth is he making the corner though? Well, that is impressive. He should have pitted a lap ago, but he didn't. He should have pitted at the same time as Pele.
He should, and his lead, he was having a good race as well. He was leading, he was yet to pit, but now he's got a puncher and he's losing all of that time. He was pushing it to the limit. He should have gone into the pit lane last lap, and look, he's sliding around and into the pit lane. Wow.
TokyoDrift.com as Reese now takes the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix, round number 2 of Tier 1, sponsored by Sim Racing Setups, where you could get 5% off any F125 setup using the code, I can't remember, is it F7R?
It is.
Is that right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. If you use the code F7R, you could get 5% off all setups, including some Bahrain setups if you want, or maybe even next week's tracks if you wanted to as well. You can get them all for a pretty good discount, so check them out. They're amazing. I've got the bundle and I absolutely love it. So there we go. Meanwhile, most people have done their first. Everyone has done their first stop now. Theo, I would expect for him to pit one more time. Reese and Cars, they're gonna have things go scrappy to the end. I would be worried if I were the front 5, because we saw how Deadly's tyres punctured. I wonder if theirs are gonna get to the end now.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting for the drivers, especially knowing that they've already seen a driver get a puncher. And I tell you what, looking at where Deadly's come out, he's come out in P9. He's come out 6 seconds behind D4, and if he hadn't have got a puncher, he'd have been right where the Mercedes are on fresh mediums till the end of this race. I feel like he's thrown a real good
Incredible.
opportunity away.
He should have pitted. He should have pitted.
Yeah.
He should have pitted because he had the gap to Pele as well. But he's probably going to go kicking himself, and he's probably going to blame me for all we know. But he's got 9 laps to pull a crack over stint. He's got some clear air now. And to be fair, Edward's doing not too bad in P10. There's all a bit of contact between B-White and Epic in towards turn 3 and in towards turn 4 now. DRS wide open. B-White hasn't got enough battery. Epic's got slight more battery on, about 9%, as they head through onto the exit of 4 in towards turn 5. Epic just about stays ahead there, but boy oh boy, this is so close. But all this fighting is helping Cars have that clear air to close in onto Reese up front. But yeah, as I was saying before these two fighted, Edward on his first race in Tier 1 in the top 10 in decent amount of points. That's pretty good for the McLaren driver. I think you'll be very happy with that. It's not just about how quick you are. It's about keeping it on the right lines and avoiding damage. And Ed, I believe, has avoided a lot of damage in this race and contact. He just kept it clean.
Yeah, he absolutely has done. He's had a great Grand Prix here. Be right and Epic OJ. This is a tasty little battle for the constructors between the V-Carb and the Kick Saubers. Cars 2.5 seconds behind. Epic OJ, then Be Right, who's been overtaken by Epic OJ. Mirko, who claimed that he was starting from the back to work his way through the grid. He's doing exactly that. He's up to P5 and chasing down Be Right.
Mirko has proved us wrong. I'm really glad he did, to be honest, because I was looking forward to proving him right, saying, ha, you started at the back and it didn't work. But in a way, it's glad that he's able to prove us wrong and climb his way up through the field. And again, he avoided the carnage. Virtual safety car deployed, and Power Twan has got front wing damage on pretty much both sides, completely red. So that, I believe, that who's called the safety car, he dives it into the pit lane to get his front wing changed, and he's not going to have that much tyres left, unfortunately. But here he goes into the pits. That's who caused the VSC, and that's going to change things, isn't it?
It is. So the VSC is out, and Powertron losing his front wing. Now, what happens here? Luckily, it weren't a full course safety car. The drivers need to make sure they stay in their delta, because we see so often that drivers will just speed up that little bit too early to avoid losing a tenth or two and then end up getting a drive through and losing 20 odd seconds. You just need to be extra careful and cautious and just stay way below that delta. As you can see, Mirko losing about half a second to Be Right in front, whilst these yellow flags are out. I'm wondering if any of the drivers would attempt at this point, if the VSC stays out, to maybe dive into the pit lane for some fresh softs till the end of this race. But it completely depends how long this yellow flag... No, it's ending now, Jess.
Yeah, that's the answer to your question,
Yes.
Nathan. No. Don't go into the pits, but they're going to be slowing right down. I don't think we've got any drive-throughs. No, they've all behaved themselves. Reese, on the other hand, his tyres have gone very cold during that safe VSC restart. Same with both of the Saubers, and that's going to allow Be Right to try and get both of them into turn one. Cars' VSC period was absolutely rubbish, and that's going to help Be Right try and get past both of them. Epic's right on the back of this as well. Epic, at the moment, is on at the podium. I think Mirko's catching up to this as well after starting near the back. Things have gone crazy in Bahrain, and I was not expecting that because of a virtual safety car, but things near the front are starting to bunch up together. Reese must be absolutely loving this, because the gap has increased from 2 seconds to 3.2.
Yeah, the two Saubers fighting with one of the V-Carbs, and Reese is just flying off up the road. But Be Right will not be happy about this. He's essentially 1v2 with his teammate way up the street, coming in towards turn 11 as they come halfway down the DRS straight. That is Theo Tanland is out in the pit lane. So one Red Bull, one Ferrari out here in round 2 in Bahrain. Well, Be Right needs to stay with Epic OJ and cars. I'm just wondering about the tyres. Be Right does have fresher tyres than both Saubers. Cars is nearly 50% on the back left, whereas in Be Right is only on 39. So he's got a lot to play with here. I'm surprised he's losing the time to the Saubers like he is, and Mirko is catching up to him every single lap, and in just a couple of laps time he might even have a chance to get an overtake here.
Yeah, I'm a bit shocked as well, even with being out for less time, that you're gaining more wear. Maybe because they're being more aggressive in terms of the turning. The game on F125 rewards pretty much smoother driving. If you have smoother driving, you're gonna gain so much more time and pretty much not gain as much tyre wear compared to your rivals. So the smoother you are, the quicker you are, obviously the less wear you're going to get. So with B right, he's got to get a move on here to try and get past both of the Saubers. 3.4, 3.5 now is the gap between Reese and Cars. Mirko's gap between B right and is about 5 tenths, 6 tenths. All a bit of contact again between B right and Epic. I wonder what Cars will be thinking of right now. Josh does get past CJ in the background, and Azaville's praying for a good result. Is going to help here because that safety car VSC has really helped him as well. He's right on the back of Ed.
Wow, so the Ferrari of Josh just squeezing CJ in that Aston Martin and nearly putting him off track. Very aggressive defending from that Scuderia. You need to be careful there because that could have ended in tears, and they're only fighting for P15 and P16. That is the last remaining point here in F7. It goes all the way down to P15, and CJ will go for the late lunge on the inside, and he sends him on the ice skating rink off the track, and Joshua back up the inside with a beautiful switchback, now on board with the Saubers as Cars is just still in front of Epic OJ. Remember, Epic is on fresher tyres by 1 lap. Deadly is through on the Alpine over Dom 4, and then you've got B-Right chasing down Epic OJ. Is there going to be a switch around? I'm sure there is. As Bill and Edward, we've got battling everywhere once again. It's a phenomenal race to watch, and I hope you guys at home are loving it just as much. The McLaren of Edward chasing down Asbill. He'll open that rear wing, get the DRS down towards turn 4, but he's just a little bit too late for that move on this occasion as B-Right still on the back of Epic OJ. I'm surprised that the two Saubers haven't swapped around yet, but they're on for really good points and a double podium for the Kick Sauber team.
I think the Kick Saubers will be very happy with that. And of course, Speed Car, as you were saying earlier, are the favourites to win the Constructors this season. I think the Kick Saubers are going to be saying, no, we want a challenge for that Constructors. But Cars and Epic, they've got to win some races. B-Right's got to win some races as well. Pretty much all 4 of those drivers have got to win some races, and Cars, it's going to be crucial for him, for all drivers, to make sure they can get those tyres to the end. We saw how Deadly's tyres punctured towards the end of his hard stint. We don't want to see the same for any one of our drivers. Deadly could still get a good result, you know, on those medium tyres. It's not over until it's over. That 26 or 29, 4 laps to go.
Yeah, Deadly's still in with a really good shout here, even after that puncher. Pellyback getting through on Edward. No, Edward's into the pit lane. Maybe just going to go on to soft till the end with only 3 laps to go. Real shame that, Jess. I don't know why he's pitted, but he's into the pit lane.
Fastest lap?
Yeah, but there's no point for fastest lap here, so really surprising that he's gone for that.
I'm surprised. Maybe he doesn't know that.
Yeah, potentially.
If he doesn't know that, he's completely bottled it.
Yeah,
completely bottled it. Oh, goodness sake, Ed. But still, 14th is still going to be quite impressive. Yeah. And you never know what could happen. I'm honestly very disappointed with Sanders' performance today. I was expecting him to be way up the order, but he's made way too many mistakes. I was expecting him to be up there, but unfortunately, he's down in P13 and he's got a lot of work to do to have a good rest of the season. Same with a few other drivers lower down on the grid.
I tell you what, Jess, CJ and Joshua are going at it like
for
a
P15
lot as
at least.
well. I know, it's like they're racing for the lead in the final lap. It's unbelievable.
Oh, they make a bit of contact though, and we also got Power Swan in there as well. It's just pretty much a fight for the wooden spoon at this rate.
Yes.
And it just shows in F7R you can have fun even though you're the back of the grid, but we also don't fight for P2 of the Saubers. Epic's past Cars in towards P2. There's so much going on in the final few laps of this Grand Prix. Don't go anywhere. And there's also another car that's joining the fight. It's Mercedes of Fanfunus 04. He is also in this fight. He can get a podium as well. Any one of those drivers in front make a mistake. The Mercedes driver has got a brilliant back seat to watch this battle unfold, and if any of those drivers make a mistake, he could be like, whoop, see you later, I could gain those positions. So Mercedes of Fanvian has had some very good pace throughout the final half of this race. Let's just hope he doesn't get a punch. I think everyone is going to be completely fine with hardly any punches, so I think we're all going to be good with that one. But Yeah, the Mercedes drivers definitely capitalised on both the kick Saubers fighting as CJ's gone off. Oh my goodness, it's towards turn one. This is going to get tasty.
Oh, and the Aston Martin just clipping the front of that Ferrari. And now he's chasing down Power 20. He just weaves. I don't know if that's aggression or to say thank you or sorry. I have no idea. They've been going at it that much over the last few
CJ's
laps.
got damage.
Oh, he has got damage. So back on board with the leaders. So he has got damage. CJ in the Aston Martin, and Joshua Bear will now chase him down. But with 2 laps to go, we go on to the penultimate lap here in Bahrain. And it is B Right chasing down cars for a podium. Who's now a second behind his teammate? Is Epic OJ going to slow down? Epic OJ has been a little bit quicker. B Right is going to go for that late lunge up the inside. He doesn't get the move done. They nearly touch. Deadly is now chasing down Gale. He's got to move on him into the DRS, down into turn 1. He's through. Mirko is now clinging on to the back of him. Fanfinus has fell off a little bit. Be right, cars. Epic OJ has slowed down just slightly. The Saubers have done it before in this race, and they're doing it again. What does Reese do in this situation?
I think what the Saubers are doing also, Nathan, is saving tyres, because we're seeing the amount of tyre life you can see on your screen. It is you can see the rubber. It's disintegrating right now, so it's not going to be that long before they're in danger of a puncture. So they just got to pretty much just keep run a bit slower at this stage, because otherwise they're going to be in a spot of bother come the end of it as well. I'm just seeing how everyone else is. I think Reese is probably worse.
CJ and
64
Josh Jets. No! Sorry, CJ and Josh. It was inevitable. They've collided, crashed, and he's out of the race, CJ.
Yeah, and luckily you caught that on stream, but I didn't see that, unfortunately. But what a shame for CJ.
Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. The battle's going everywhere. We want to capture everybody, not just the front lot, but the people at the back. That's what we are at F7R. Final lap of this race, Nathan.
It is indeed. It's Reese that leads to Epic OJ to cars, B Right and Mirko. A DRS train from P2 to P6. Anybody can still finish on the podium. It's been a phenomenal Grand Prix. Mirko, has he been saving his battery? B Right has fell off a little bit. This could be Mirko's opportunity. And there goes Jeffy as well on Pele back with that DRS up to P11. These are vital points. Remember, down to P15 for points here in F7. Reese is still 4 seconds clear, but the battle for the podium is well and truly on.
Yes, it is. And you really want to be using all those tactics and also save those tyre wear as well, because you never know when they could puncture. Avoid those curves, I would say, if you're in the kick Saubers and if you're in this fight for the podium. And I could definitely say Epic will definitely get P2, but who's going to get third out of all of this? Is it going to be cars or is it going to be right? I don't know, but there's one driver that has driven faultlessly throughout the entirety of the race. He's let everyone else behind him fight for positions, and he's able to have clear air through most of it. And he's going to go up to the final few corners, Nathan.
He is. He's going to come round turn 14 and 15. And the Englishman, Reese Dye, the season 10 world champion, will win here in Bahrain for round 2. Epic OJ with an epic Grand Prix. Kars, his teammate, takes the double podium for Kick Sauber. B Right takes P4, Mirko in P5, Fanfinus in P6. Deadly, had he not have got that puncher, I genuinely believe he'd have been fighting for a podium. Sander is going to get an overtake all the way down to the line. Is he going to pip in the nose ahead? He does! Sander stays ahead of Pele back by 12 1,000ths of a second. What a race.
That is insane. And they both get points, which is, I think, a good send-up, I would say. Ed would have just missed out on a point. If he stayed out, he probably would have got points, but it's all about experience, isn't it? But fair play, Ed. You kept out of trouble, and I still think you got a decent result out of all of that. But we are just waiting for Power Twang and Joshua to make their way across the line to finish this race. And what an ending!
Yeah, what an incredible ending. So many good battles, so many good side-by-side and wheel-to-wheel racing. I hope everybody's enjoyed it. We've had so many people watching throughout the race. I hope you've all enjoyed it as much as we have, but that was great stuff from the drivers.
And we got to pick a driver of the day, haven't we? I don't know who to pick.
I have no idea at all.
You pick it this week because I picked it last week for Tier 4.
Right, let me have a look. So, I mean, Reese was faultless. Mirko came from 14th to P5 and was fighting for a podium
Wow.
at the end. I mean, yeah, Deadly really ruined his own strategy. I mean, Mirko was brilliant. I'd have to give it to Mirko in the Williams.
Good shout. Good shout. I think Mirko would get annoyed at us if we didn't give a driver of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with you. But I wouldn't believe it. This is the order, but this is the order, Nathan.
I know. So Reese taking the race win. Epic OJ in P2. Cars in P3 on the podium. Then B-Right in P4. Mirko in P5 from 14th on the grid. Fanfurness taking P6, gaining one position in the race. Deadly after that. Puncher still finishing in P7, started P11. Gale started P8, finishes P8, starts in P9 and finishes in P9 is Abaddon 4 in the Alpine. Asbil in P10 and then it comes...
Decent.
Yeah, it's a great result for Asbil. Jeffy, Sander, Pele, Edward, Powertran, Josh, CJ, Theo and Ryan complete the rest of the drivers. All the points up to 15th and Edward with the fastest lap.
Apart from that one safety car we had lap 1, I think it was a very stellar race with battles everywhere, I have to say. And Reese dominating from the front, Mirko making his way through, battles happening left, right, and centre for positions. I think this tier's going to be really close, and I can't wait to see what we have Tier 1 has in store next week when the drivers go to the next track. But I think for Reese, the season 10 champion, I think he's going to be the happiest man alive.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jess. Well, what a Grand Prix. I cannot wait to see what we do in Canada for the Montreal Grand Prix for round 3, and especially going into that Wall of Champions through the Centre S at turn 1 and 2 and down in towards the hairpin. It's just going to be so good to watch these drivers compete around that circuit next Sunday. I just want to say thank you so much to you, Jess. It's been so relaxing and so great to listen to you as well doing commentary, and it's been a pleasure to be alongside you in this race.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to commentate on Tier 1 for the first time. Obviously, I had more time to prep this time compared to last week. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, a lot of great action. And you were right when you said last week how Tier 1 was action-packed all the way through. And tonight has definitely proved it. And Canada's going to be interesting because there's going to be, I think, quite a few track limit warnings. I think the winner is going to come down to the driver that has the least penalties.
Yeah, definitely, because Canada is so tricky through sector 1 and 2, so it'll be interesting to see what the drivers do and if that plays a part during the race. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Me and Jess have been your commentators. Hopefully, we'll be in the commentary box again soon. It depends how free you are, Jess, but it's always a pleasure to do commentary alongside you. And hopefully we'll be seeing you again soon. When does One Hub season start again?
Oh, I can't remember. Beginning of February.
Oh, brilliant! So we might get you. We might get you again. We might be lucky enough to get you again.
Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. It depends on how the prep for One Hub is going. But
Absolutely.
we'll see. I've got a lot to prep for that, but we'll see.
Yeah, no problem at all. Well, thank you very much. And thank you all for tuning in and watching. We'll be back on Wednesday for Formula 7 Realistic in China. And then we'll be back next Sunday for round 3 here in Canada for tier 1, 2, 3 and 4. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your commentator. Thank you to Jess. And everybody have a great week. Take care.